Imagine standing at the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The hot desert sun beats down, and yet you feel a strange sense of calm, almost as if the air itself is vibrating with a hidden rhythm. You run your hand across the massive stone blocks, and something whispers to you, not in words, but in patterns, in lines, in numbers. What if this pyramid wasn't just a tomb, but a key, a geometric doorway into the mysteries of the universe itself? What if the places we call sacred weren't chosen at random, but built upon an ancient understanding of cosmic design that we have long since forgotten? This is the secret geometry of sacred places, a hidden code written not in books, but in stone. From the earliest days of human civilization, our ancestors sought connection with forces greater than themselves. They built temples, monuments, and sanctuaries, not merely for shelter or ritual, but to align with invisible energies that shaped their world. These sacred places, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, Angkor Wat, the pyramids, are scattered across the globe like markers on a cosmic map. Though oceans and centuries divide them, they share one profound secret. They are all constructed with precise mathematical and geometric patterns. The question is, how did ancient builders with no modern technology achieve such accuracy? And more importantly, why? Consider Stonehenge. Those towering stones are arranged in a circle that aligns perfectly with the solstices, marking the longest and shortest days of the year. To the untrained eye, it's just a ring of stones. But to those who understand geometry, it is a living calendar, a cosmic instrument that tracks the movement of the sun and the rhythms of the earth. Its builders weren't primitive. They were astronomers, mathematicians, philosophers of stone and sky. They knew that geometry was not just about shapes, but about resonance. Circles, triangles, spirals, these were sacred forms thought to mirror the structure of creation itself. And then there are the pyramids. For centuries, they have fascinated scientists and mystics alike. The Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions. Its proportions encode the value of pi, the golden ratio, and even hints of astronomical constants. This is not coincidence. The builders understood that form has power, that numbers are not abstract concepts but living forces. The pyramid is not just stone stacked upon stone, it is a crystallized equation, a frozen hymn to the harmony of the cosmos. What's even more mysterious is that this sacred geometry appears in places where cultures had no known contact. The Mayans built temples that mirrored constellations. The Incas aligned Machu Picchu with mountain peaks in ways that create perfect geometric patterns when viewed from above. In Cambodia, Angkor Wat is designed as a precise reflection of the heavens, its towers arranged like the stars in the constellation Draco. Did these civilizations all stumble upon the same secret knowledge independently? Or were they inheritors of a lost science passed down from an earlier age of humanity? Sacred geometry is more than mathematics. It is philosophy made visible. It suggests that there is an order woven into reality, a pattern that underlies all existence. The circle is unity. The triangle is balance. The spiral is growth and evolution. By building with these shapes, ancient civilizations weren't just creating beautiful structures, they were encoding their understanding of the universe into physical form. And when people entered these spaces, they didn't just see geometry, they felt it. The mind may not consciously recognize ratios and alignments, but the body responds. It resonates. This may explain why people still report feelings of awe, peace, and transcendence when standing in these ancient places. Geometry speaks to us in a language older than words. Modern science is only beginning to rediscover what our ancestors may have known intuitively. Studies show that certain proportions, like the golden ratio, are naturally pleasing to the human brain. They appear in the spiral of galaxies, the growth of plants, the proportions of the human body. When architecture mirrors these ratios, it creates harmony between the individual and the cosmos. Could it be that sacred places were built as tools for aligning human consciousness with the universe? Were they designed to be gateways, not to other physical places but to deeper states of awareness? The secret geometry of sacred places invites us to reconsider what it means to build, to dwell, and to connect with the divine. These structures aren't relics of superstition. They are blueprints of reality itself. They remind us that the universe is not chaos, but cosmos, an ordered, intelligent, and resonant whole. And through geometry, the ancients left us a map, not just to the stars, but to ourselves. Right, they felt it. The mind may not consciously recognize ratios and alignments, but the body responds. It resonates, as though the stones themselves hum with a frequency that speaks to the deepest parts of our being. This is why stepping into a cathedral built with sacred geometry, or standing before an ancient temple aligned with the stars, can bring about a profound sense of awe. It's not just architecture, it's a dialogue between human consciousness and the universe itself. Take, for example, the medieval cathedrals of Europe. While built much later than the pyramids or Stonehenge, their architects carried forward the same ancient knowledge. The rose windows are crafted in precise geometric patterns, circles within circles, reflections of the infinite. The entire structure is often designed around the golden ratio, drawing the eye upward, lifting the spirit toward heaven. These buildings were not only places of worship but instruments of transformation. Step inside and the proportions subtly shift your awareness, moving you closer to the divine. It's fascinating that these patterns appear even in nature. The spiral of a seashell, the branching of a tree, the orbit of planets, all follow the same mathematical laws echoed in sacred places. The ancients were attuned to this truth. They saw no separation between nature, humanity, and the cosmos. By replicating these patterns in their structures, they believed they were harmonizing themselves with the very order of existence. They were, in a sense, weaving themselves into the cosmic fabric. Modern researchers have begun to test the effects of sacred geometry on human perception. Studies suggest that environments built with harmonic proportions reduce stress, promote clarity, and even enhance meditative states. Could this explain why people feel a sense of timelessness when visiting ancient sites? Could the secret geometry of these places literally alter our state of mind? If so, then sacred architecture is not just symbolic, it's functional, a technology of consciousness hidden in plain sight. And this brings us to an even more intriguing possibility. Perhaps these sites were built as tools, not just monuments. Tools to align the body and soul with greater forces. Imagine Stonehenge as more than a calendar. It may have been a vast tuning fork, resonating with the cycles of the earth. Imagine the Great Pyramid as not just a tomb, but a device for channeling energy. Whether one interprets this energy as spiritual, electromagnetic, or something yet unknown, the design hints at a purpose far beyond what mainstream history admits. The deeper we look, the more we find that geometry is the universal language. It speaks through stone circles, temples, and pyramids, and it speaks through galaxies, atoms, and the very DNA in our cells. The ancients may have been trying to tell us that by understanding geometry, we come closer to understanding the blueprint of reality itself. And perhaps that's why these sacred places still stand. Not just as relics of the past, but as messages to the future. Messages waiting for us to finally listen. Would you like me to continue with Part 3, another 800 words? Carrying the script deeper into hidden patterns, mystical meanings, and modern implications? Mainstream history admits, it is as if these ancient architects were less like builders and more like composers, arranging stone, angle, and ratio the way a musician arranges notes, to create a resonance that vibrates through both space and time. Their structures endure because they are more than material. They are harmonic patterns made solid, music crystallized into matter. And like music, they continue to affect us long after the last hand that shaped them has vanished. This idea of geometry as a hidden force isn't limited to temples and pyramids. Consider the labyrinths carved into the floors of medieval churches. To a casual visitor, they might seem like decorative patterns, but walking those winding paths was seen as a spiritual journey, an inward pilgrimage that mirrored the cosmic journey of the soul. Geometry was not just for the eye, it was for the body, the mind, the spirit. Every line, every curve, every proportion was chosen with intention, guiding the participant into deeper states of awareness. And then there is the concept of ley lines, mysterious alignments said to connect sacred sites across vast distances. From Stonehenge to the Great Pyramids, from ancient mounds to medieval cathedrals, these lines appear to form invisible pathways across the earth. Skeptics call them coincidence, but others suggest they are part of a hidden grid of energy that ancient builders could sense and tap into. If true, then sacred geometry wasn't just applied to buildings, but to the entire landscape itself. Humanity was weaving itself into a planetary web of harmony. Modern architecture rarely carries such purpose. Skyscrapers rise to dominate skylines, but how many are designed to harmonize with cosmic rhythms? We build for efficiency, for economy, for spectacle, but rarely for resonance. And yet, when we step into the shadow of a pyramid or the hush of a cathedral, we remember. We feel. Something inside us recognizes the pattern, as if our very DNA is attuned to the geometry of the cosmos. Perhaps this is why sacred places still draw millions of visitors each year. Not out of nostalgia, but because they awaken something we cannot name but deeply know. If the ancients truly understood that geometry was a bridge between the human and the divine, then perhaps they were trying to leave us more than monuments. They were leaving us maps. Maps not drawn on parchment but etched in stone, guiding us toward harmony with forces greater than ourselves. And the most astonishing part? Those maps are still working. Thousands of years later, the stones still sing. So the question remains, what will we do with this knowledge? Will we treat sacred geometry as a curiosity of the past, or will we rediscover it as a tool for our future? Because if geometry is indeed the language of the universe, then to ignore it is to silence the music of creation. But to listen, to learn, to align with it, may be to unlock the very secrets of existence itself. Would it be that this web was not only symbolic, but energetic? Imagine the earth itself as a vast living organism, its energy flowing through veins and currents just as blood flows through ours. Sacred places, aligned along ley lines, may have acted as acupuncture points, tuning and balancing the planet's energy. By building upon these lines, ancient civilizations were not just constructing temples, they were working with the living body of the earth itself. Even today, we see echoes of this knowledge. Pilgrimages continue to sacred sites, not just for religious devotion, but for the experience of something indescribable, something that cannot be captured in photographs or explained in words. People report feeling lighter, more centered, more connected after visiting these places. It is as if the geometry of the structures, the alignment of the stones, and the energy of the land all work together to retune the human spirit. This is the enduring power of sacred geometry. It bridges the material and the immaterial, the seen and the unseen. It suggests that architecture is not merely functional but spiritual technology. It offers a reminder that the ancients may not have been primitive at all. Perhaps they lived closer to the heartbeat of the earth, attuned to a wisdom we have overlooked in our pursuit of progress. So as you walk through a cathedral's archway, stand before the silent majesty of the pyramids, or trace the spirals of ancient carvings, ask yourself, what message are these stones still whispering? Could they be urging us to remember that we are part of a greater pattern, one that unites earth, sky, and soul? The sacred geometry of these places is not locked in the past. It is alive in every sunrise, every spiral shell, every breath we take, and maybe, just maybe, the ancients left us these monuments not only as a testament to their greatness, but as an invitation to see beyond the surface, to listen to the music of creation, and to rediscover the harmony that has always been within us, waiting to be remembered.